Walking into a card shop or a card show for the first time might seem intimidating. How do you know what's what, much less what is good? It can seem like there's a lot to learn, but it's not as hard as you might think. Let's go explore the showcases of Cards HQ, and I'll be your guide. Hey everyone, welcome back to another Market Movers video. My name is Tyler Nethercott, better known as Teapot, and today I'm your guide. We're going to talk about all the different nuances of the different types of cards, from rookie cards to prospect cards, the different card stock, parallels, and a whole bunch more. Now at the highest level, one thing I would talk to you about is there's non-sports cards and sports cards. So right when you walk into Cards HQ, all of our non-sports cards, you're gonna have pop culture type things, as well as TCG. Pokemon is massive in the TCG card world. Some people play the game, other people just like to collect the cards. They're Pokemon fans or they're Magic, Lorcana fans, all these different trading card games. Very, very popular. When you look at a company like PSA, they're grading about as many non-sports cards as they are sports cards every month. Now my bread and butter, definitely on the sports card side. I might know a Pokemon or two, but I don't know as much about those sports. So what I wanna do is I wanna take you over, and I was thinking about this recently with a new guy who I onboarded who's not particularly knowledgeable about cards in particular to my development team. And it got me thinking, there's a lot to learn here, and I think it could be really useful to many of you. So that's the goal today, to kind of get you up to speed, talk about some of these differences, and we're gonna start right over here in the showcase with some baseball cards. Okay, so we're gonna do this just like you're here next to me. Like we're just looking in the showcase together and I'm explaining to you some of these differences. And I got lucky because they gave me the key. So I can pull these out and take a look at these. So one thing at a high level is that on every product checklist, you have base cards. Base cards are the most basic cards from the checklist, typically anywhere from 100 to 200, even upwards of 500 different players on a base checklist. And then a lot of those cards have parallels, what we call parallels. It's a variation, something different with the color or something different on the logo, some kind of difference with the same image, the same design, the same photo of that base card, but with variations. So that's one type of card. So when I look at these, for example, I can pull these out. This is actually a variation of a base card. This is a Junior Caminero rookie card. And I know it's a rookie card because it has the RC logo right here on it. But this is actually a team color match parallel. And funny enough, this was actually an idea that I thought of a few years ago for a parallel and brought up on a Data Dive video, on a Market Movers video. And then Topps executed this about 2 years later. They probably didn't see my video, but I love when that type of stuff happens, when you think this would be a really cool idea to get the team logo and color incorporated into cards. This is a really cool one. So this would be a base design, and this is a parallel variation of that card with the team color match logo on it. These, by the way, not serial numbered. Some cards, either on the back of the card or on the front of the card somewhere, will have a serial number, much like this one. So we're gonna look at this card. This card is serial numbered. What that means is it's a variation, some kind of a green shimmer or something along those lines, but it's numbered 76 of 99. So what this means is there are 99 of these cards in existence in the world that were printed, and this one is number 76 of 99. Serial numbered cards tend to be more sought after and more desirable than non-serial numbered cards in many cases, with some caveats. Not every serial numbered card is highly sought after. Sometimes manufacturers make many different serial numbered variations. A set like Panini Prism has something like 40 or 50 parallels. Select Football that came out recently has 5 different levels that they distinguish on their base checklist, broke into sets of 100, and every rookie or the key rookies like CJ Stroud, somebody like that, are gonna be in each level. And then in total, there's like 169 different parallels. So when you see a serial numbered card numbered to 25 from a product like that, that's not as rare necessarily or as special as a card that's serial numbered to 25, say from the 90s, like out of Stadium Club first day issues back then. I think it was the first day issue refractors from one of the years, numbered to 25, but it was the only serial numbered card from the set. Or Fleer Brilliance 24 karat gold, serial numbered to 24 from the 90s. Those ones a lot more rare because they didn't make a million different parallels. They only made one parallel variation, and it was serial numbered, very hard to pull from the packs. So that's a little bit about kind of like the base card design. In addition to base cards, you also have inserts. Inserts are basically anything that aren't base cards from the set. So they'll have a different design. So this card, which says Platinum Performers, this is an insert from this product from Topps. And I can see on the back what product this came from. It's just from 2024 Topps. Back of the card also typically gives away that it's an insert if it's a number like PP7. Typically base cards are just going to be numbered 1 to 300 based on the checklist. Inserts very often have something like PP or whatever, you know, might be an abbreviation, an acronym for the actual card. Sometimes, very often today with products, inserts will still feature the rookie card logo on them. That wasn't always the case. The rookie card logo has a lot of history, you know, a lot of pedigree. Basically, rookie cards began to get really popular starting in the 1980s, and then certainly into the 90s when they began putting the RC logo onto the cards. Some people don't believe that an insert is actually a true rookie card. They might say it's a rookie year card, but they don't believe that it should have the rookie card designation. I can see both sides of the argument, but what you do need to understand in most cases is that the base rookie cards typically are more sought after and more valuable and more of a long-term investment piece for players who go on to be really good than the corresponding inserts. There's some caveats to that. If it's a really rare insert or something along those lines, there's still a premium on the cards and the player's value, or the value of the card long-term if it came from their rookie year. But strictly speaking, many people who are a little bit maybe more purist, more old school would say, that's not a rookie card. We wish they wouldn't put the logo on those. Let's keep looking at some more of these. So here I've got a card that's actually called, some people would call this a jersey autograph card. So also a relic auto. And what that means is there's this little piece inside of this card, and it says game used memorabilia. So this is a piece cut from, it looks like maybe from his armband, if I had to guess. Could be from his sock, but I'm guessing based on the fabric. Many times they don't tell you necessarily what piece of clothing it came from. You see it says Major League Material, so that is actually the card from the checklist. It's the Major League Material card from the checklist. And so this is a piece that Yordan Alvarez actually wore. Now Topps does something where they put game used memorabilia very often on the front, right underneath the patch. What confuses some people is when I turn this card over, it says, you've just received a Major League Material autograph card from 2020 Topps Baseball Update Series. And then the memorabilia contained on this card is not from any specific game, event, or season. That confuses some people. Why does it confuse some people? Because Panini actually does things a little bit differently. And they always put on the back of their card whether it is game worn, which means the player actually wore that during the game. This specific player theoretically wore it during that game. Or it can be player worn, which means that the player maybe wore it in warm-ups, maybe in a spring training or a batting cage session. Maybe they wore it at an event and they put something on. Many times it will say event worn in that case. So you have player or event worn. Or sometimes they didn't wear it at all. They never even touched it. It'll say not from any specific player, game, event, or season. And so Panini will put that on the back of their cards. It confuses people because of that distinction. A lot of people don't notice the little font underneath that says game used material. And even for high-end products like Top Dynasty, for example, here's a Topps Dynasty card. I'll pull this one out because I knew this was over here. This Barry Larkin card, beautiful card, Topps Dynasty, very high-end set, absolutely stunning design. On-card autograph, serial numbered 2 of 10 with a beautiful patch, a piece of patch from the player's jersey in the card. So then what I see here is Topps certified autograph issue and game used memorabilia. So this confuses people because they turn to the back and they see this verbiage that says relic contained in this card is not from any specific game, event, or season. And they think that's the same as the Panini verbiage that means the player never even touched or wore this card. This confuses even some of the most knowledgeable baseball card experts. They're still learning that yes, Topps Dynasty cards are always game used memorabilia. So that's a really great card. Now, actually, we'll look at one more difference here. This is a big one, and sometimes it can be very subtle. This is what's called an on-card autograph. It is actually signed on the card. The athlete actually signed it. Barry Larkin signed it on this card with a marker. This card is a sticker autograph. So if I turn it, you can see subtly that it says autograph issue, top certified autograph issue. This is a label. So what happens is Yordan Alvarez and his agent or somebody, they get this sheet of labels, or they go to some event and they slap them down on a table and they say, all right, Yordan, here you go. You need to sign all of these labels. And he signs all of them, and then they get shipped back to Topps or to Panini. Panini does this too. The other manufacturers do this as well. And then they can make the decision where to peel these off and which cards to put them on based on their product releases throughout the year. Sticker autographs are not nearly as popular as on-card autographs. I myself really don't go after many sticker autographs. It just feels a little bit gimmicky to me. It's like, you know, if you want to say I want an autograph, there's that idea that the person actually held your card, that they actually did something authentic in person, not just a sheet of labels from Kinko's or wherever. But sticker autos can still be pretty popular. A lot of people really do like them. It's, you know, it's kind of to each their own. But in terms of like value proposition and other things like that, on-card autographs tend to be far more popular. Let's keep looking for some other examples. There's so many differences when it comes to sports cards. I could honestly probably talk about this for hours and hours. So let's look for another example here. I see Corbin Carroll. So here's an interesting one. This is actually a dual autograph. So you see in some cases, you'll have more than one athlete sign the card. And in this case, it looks like we've got Yadier Molina's, and I think that's Salvador Perez, if I have to turn it over here on the back. Yeah, so Yadier Molina and Salvador Perez, two of the most notable catchers, obviously, from the last decade or so. And this is out of Leaf. This card is out of Leaf. Leaf is a company that's known for getting autographs and relic pieces for different athletes, but it's not a licensed product. So what does that mean? It means Leaf doesn't have the rights with the leagues, Major League Baseball, NBA, NHL, NFL, etc. They don't have the rights with those leagues to actually use their logos, but they can form agreements with players, specific players, still to get their autographs. So all that means is they can't actually put the jersey or the team name, like Cardinals and Royals, anywhere on the card. They can put St. Louis, they can put Kansas City, because those aren't owned by the teams. And so they kind of like whitewash this out so that you don't see the logo anywhere on this. I will give Leaf a lot of credit. They typically do a really nice job with their designs. Some of their designs are really well done. They're very foil heavy. You see this kind of purple foil on this card and even on the Leaf logo. They are thoughtful about it because this is their business. They have to get around not being able to put those logos on the cards. Some people really do not like unlicensed cards. They only want licensed cards. They only want the ones with the logos. But I will say that a product like Leaf, still very popular, still can actually make you a decent amount of money for people who specialize in this product and get to know it really well. It's not one that I've ever dabbled with significantly. I've owned a few Leaf cards over the years, but this is one that can be pretty popular. That's kind of the deal with unlicensed cards and with Leaf. Here's another example, by the way, of another unlicensed card. So this is a Bobby Witt Jr. card, really nice color match. So whenever you see the parallel matching the team colored, the team's jersey, people tend to gravitate toward those pretty significantly. I myself really like color match cards. So this is out of Donruss Optic. It's a Panini product. Rated rookie, that logo going back to the 80s. But this is not a licensed card, which is why you don't see the Kansas City Royals logo anywhere on Bobby Witt's jersey. It's been photoshopped off of his baseball cap, and it simply says Kansas City on the back. It's serial numbered 15 of 50. But this card would not be nearly as popular, not nearly as popular as an actual rookie card from a Topps product serial numbered to 50. Big price difference in those two cards for sure. So if you're kind of purely collecting and you like design and you like the color match, and maybe you just really favor Panini products, some people really do like to go after those. You can get them at a discount and build your collection that way. All right, let's keep looking here. So here's another one. This is actually a little bit different than a parallel. This is a golden mirror image variation out of Topps. So Topps has 3 series every year. Series 1 comes out in April, Series 2 comes out in the summer, Topps Update comes out in the fall. And it's basically the same product all the way through, but with a different checklist of players throughout the product. This Anthony Santander card is an image variation of his base card. So it's him obviously in the dugout, high-fiving, probably after hitting a home run. He's having a fantastic season, by the way. that would not be the image that's used. So there's no color effect, there's no nothing else. It's actually literally a different photo. So when we turn it over, the number is exactly the same. Card number 265 from that checklist from Topps Series 1, but it says this SSP on here, and it has sort of this gold back. The design changes a little bit year over year. Topps has been experimenting. There are prior years, I believe it was 2022, was the first year they did the golden mirror image variations, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it was last year, but either way, in many instances, you actually had to come in and you had to look at this little tiny code, very small, like some people need glasses on the bottom to look and see if the code was any different than the base checklist. So you'd have to like find the checklist online, and then you'd have to look up what are the codes for the base cards, what are the codes for the image variations, and then you get what's called sometimes a short print, which might be anywhere from 1 in 8 packs to 1 in 100 packs. They'll call them short prints or SPs. And then you get super short prints, SSPs, that are even harder to pull out of those products. So it's a little bit like a scavenger hunt, trying to see, like people are going through their whole stacks of cards, looking at all the backs of them. Kind of fun, but also kind of frustrating, thinking about the fact that many of those very rare cards have probably been thrown away over the years or are sitting in boxes unbeknownst to the people who own them because they didn't even realize that they got something special. I think that's especially true with younger children who, you know, open a box, their parents got them and don't have any clue about it, and maybe their parents don't know anything about it either. All right, here's another really noteworthy card. This card is called a Topps Now card. So if you follow our content on Sports Card Investor, you know that Jeff recently put out a big bounty, a $250,000 bounty on a triple autograph 1-of-1 Topps Now card of Steph Curry, LeBron James, and Kevin Durant. So Topps Now is what we call like an on-demand, a print-to-demand card. This did not come out of a pack. This did not come out of a box and a pack inside of the box. This card was created to commemorate an event. So it says, second pair of rookies in MLB history to post 20 home run, 20 stolen base campaigns. There was a lot of debate last year and going into this year about which player would be better. Bobby's obviously having a much, much better season this year. And this one's actually numbered 16 of 25. You can barely see it on the silver foil in the top left corner. So what happens is Topps comes out with these cards on their website, and they put it out with the base design, not the purple, but just the base design. And they say, hey, you can buy as many of these as you want. You can buy 1, you can buy 5, 10, 1,000 if you wanted. We will print to demand within like a 24 or 48 or sometimes a 7-day window of listing this on our website. And then once that happens, they close it, they print all of them, and they randomly circulate these parallels into those packs as they mail them out to people. Topps Now cards, historically not as popular as pack pulled cards, not as sought after, but they're starting to kind of tick up in popularity, to be honest. Some people really like those commemorative moments, those types of things, and some of them can be really iconic. There's actually a dual autograph of Ronald Acuna Jr. and Shohei Ohtani from Topps Now out of 2018, so it's a dual rookie card. Jeff picked one of those up at the National a year ago, not this past summer, but the year before in 2023. So those can be really, really cool cards. Let's keep looking here. So, okay, so this card is another interesting one. This is what's called a cut autograph. So you see it says Bronx Cuts, and then it has this piece in the back that is signed by Catfish Hunter. If we turn this over, it says, you have received a cut signature card from Leaf Trading Cards. This card bears the authentic cut signature of Catfish Hunter. So what they do is they find, it can be anything with these autographs that these athletes have signed historically. And a lot of times they do this for deceased players. In fact, almost always. And they'll take something where they signed a letter to a person or a bank check or their, mortgage or something like that, their home deed, and they sign it, they cut it out, they put it into the card, they frame it in, and then they make a sports card out of it. Some people really like these. In many high-end Topps products, you'll have cut autograph chases of players like Hank Aaron, Mickey Mantle, Willie Mays, maybe even George Washington, Benjamin Franklin. They put all kinds of these big chase cut signature autos in them. I myself, I'm not as big on cut autographs, if I'm being honest, but some people really do like them and they like that piece of history. And obviously when an athlete is deceased, there's not a way to go back and actually have them physically sign a card or even sign a sticker label. So that's another way that you can get an autograph from one of those players. Okay, so here's another really good example. Let's talk about rookie cards and let's talk about prospect cards. So I already talked a little bit about the idea of a true rookie card versus a rookie year with the logo and that type of thing. But in baseball in particular, and actually we're starting to see Topps push this in basketball and in football, there's what's called a first Bowman card or a first prospect card. You'll see these types of things. So what that means is there are 3 products that come out every year. Bowman comes out in the spring. You have Bowman Chrome, which is actually releasing this week. It actually came out this week. And then you have Bowman Draft, which comes out later in the winter. These products all feature prospect cards, and Bowman Chrome in particular features like international prospects. Bowman Draft tends to have a lot of the guys who kind of coming out of college and were drafted here in the United States and are going into the minor leagues. And then Bowman tends to have a carryover of players who maybe didn't make one or both of those products earlier in the year. Each of the products actually has chrome cards in it. Bowman Chrome is only this chromium stock, so it's a different kind of card stock and it's a different finish on the card in particular, and this one is actually a refractor. So this is a Bowman Chrome first autograph, on card by the way, autograph, refractor number to 499, and these cards are very, very popular. In baseball, they tend to be the most significant cards, the most popular cards, the most investable cards long term, even more so than rookie autographs. So compare that to this Brett Beatty card, and this is actually out of Topps Stadium Club, and this is an on-card auto, but it's a rookie card out of Topps Stadium Club. So if you were to have Brett Beatty's Bowman first and Brett Beatty's rookie card auto, in many cases, people want the prospect card because it is their first card that came out, which is sort of the hype in most cases around rookie cards in other sports. So it's going to be really interesting to see, with Topps having come out with products like Bowman Chrome University for basketball and football, they're now putting these first cards for these collegiate athletes or athletes who play in other leagues, even internationally, like Victor Wembanyama, who played over in France. They're putting these first cards into those. We'll see if it sticks. We'll see if the basketball and football card communities latch onto those at all, or if they just kind of keep favoring the rookie cards long term, unlike baseball. All right, so we talked about parallels and how base sets can have different parallels, but one thing the manufacturers also do is they make separate releases. They come out with different products, maybe a little more high end. So here's 2 really good examples. This card is actually out of Bowman Chrome Sapphire Edition. Sapphire Edition is its own product, and the cards inside all have this, what they call kind of like cracked ice or atomic look to them, where it looks like, shattered glass, really beautiful cards. This one's numbered to 10. The purples are numbered to 10. And this is its own standalone product. Fewer packs, higher end, higher price point many times, or at least comparable, but fewer packs. So you get these different colors, and that's kind of a big chase. This is a relatively new product that came out in the last few years, and this is actually called the Logofractor Parallel Logofractor Edition. So you can see in the background they have the MLB logo man, and it's kind of tiled throughout. These actually come in different colors as well. This is sort of the base Logofractor, and then you can have other colors as well, kind of as parallels of this. Logofractor is an interesting product because it's actually sort of a version of Topps Chrome, where you'll get 6 or 8 packs of regular Topps Chrome in the box, and then 2 Logofractor packs with 4 cards each in that box, and it sells for let's say $175, something along those lines. So that's a little bit of different. Sapphire, all the packs are Sapphire cards. Logofractor is 8 Chrome packs and then 2 Logofractor packs inside to kind of have an extra added element of chase within that product. All right, so here's a couple more unique cards. This card is actually called a printing plate. So when the manufacturers make the cards, they use these different printing plates with different colors to actually generate the card and actually print the cards. So they take these printing plates, and then in some cases they actually have the player sign them, or they put a sticker auto. Sometimes they even cut a piece out and they'll put a little Relic jersey piece inside of it. But these cards are always one of ones. They're the actual printing plates used in the printing process. So it'll say black plate on the back. There may be a green one, a blue one, a red one, things along those lines. Printing plates, they're pretty niche, I'll be honest. You think one of one, and if you hit one, it's exciting because it is technically a one of one and a very rare card to pull out of any pack. But not everybody really likes printing plates. The image is obviously washed out on it. Some people really like to chase them. A lot of players, super collectors, like to go after printing plates. but they're definitely not as exciting as actually hitting like a Superfractor 1 of 1 out of Topps Chrome or a Prism Black or a Nebula or something along those lines. This card is a good example of what I would call a collector card. So I want to kind of shift gears into the different kinds of cards when it comes to making money versus collecting. And this is a collector card. This is a Relic card out of Topps Triple Threads. It's serial number to 27. You can see they've done this really creative, kind of visually appealing thing with these numbers and then putting this wood piece of his bat behind the card inside in the middle of the card. You turn it over, Monty Irvin. So why do I say that this is a collector card? It's not a rookie card, and there are certain products that tend to garner a lot more interest in terms of being iconic and having long-term investability. So when I think about it, you can think about the hobby from a monetary perspective, and you can think about it from a collecting perspective. In the money bucket, you've got like short-term speculation and people trying to flip things. And in those cases, you typically really want, not always, people will argue with me about this, I'm sure, but you typically want like what we call commodity cards. Lower end, like Prism-based PSA 10s, Topps Chrome PSA 10s, refractors, silvers, things that transact frequently because there's enough of them, and it gives people price confidence. So let me actually pull out market movers, and I'll show you an example of what I mean by this. Okay, so I've got market movers open, and right away, this Victor Wembanyama Prism base card, when I pop it open, in the last 30 days, 1,296 sales of this card. Raw, I can pop it open, I can see all the prices of the different grades as well as the population count. So even in a PSA 10, 758 of these sold over the last 30 days. Why does that matter? That matters because if somebody's thinking about buying this card from me, they don't have to guess what the card is worth. There's tons of sales happening. So you can see 30-day average, $117. So maybe we're working out a cash deal. They say, I'll give you 110 or 105 or something because I don't have to pay fees to sell it online. That's kind of easy. It's easy to move those cards, whether in person or online. There's price confidence baked into it because they're transacting so frequently. In contrast, if I open this up and I come down here, let's look at something that's going to be a little bit more rare, like a Choice Tiger Stripe SSP, okay? This is a short printed, super short printed, non-numbered parallel. Really nice looking card. The Tiger Stripe's very popular. And only one of these has sold. It is Pop 3, meaning there are 3 of them in existence, and only one has sold so far. And it sold on July 7th for $18,600. So let's say Victor Wembanyama gets really hot to start up the season again this year, and I want to move this card. People aren't necessarily going to know what to pay for this card. It sold 2 months ago, 3 months ago, 4 months ago, however long since it last sold. Much more difficult to move this card. Now, if you have the discipline and the network, more importantly, and the patience, you know, sometimes you can find somebody to buy this and make your money on it, but it's not as easy to make it in that short-term flip game. So this is what I would call more of a long-term investment piece card. If Victor Wembanyama goes on to become an incredibly good player, typically the more rare the cards, the better the price trajectory long term. So if you look at a card like Michael Jordan's PSA 10 Fleer rookie card, the PSA 10s do really well. They're always in high demand. They've kind of continued to appreciate, and in many cases they typically outpace lower grades that are more frequently sought after. So that's sort of the thought process with money. When it comes to collecting, people want to collect unique stuff a lot of times. They'd like to, they might like to build out their collections with more unique pieces. And maybe if they're a player collector, if there's a Monty Irvin collector or a San Francisco, New York Giants type player, maybe the Mets. I'm mixing up how that all played out historically, but either way, somebody might want to have this card, whereas from an investment perspective, this isn't really considered like an iconic investment card. So those distinctions, they definitely matter when you're thinking about things. A lot of dealers will tell you they do really well selling these types of cards at shows maybe, because there are a lot of collectors at shows, and collectors are the backbone of the hobby. But in general, a lot of people do make those distinctions between short-term flip opportunities, long-term investable cards that become truly iconic of the best players of all time. I talked about that 2 weeks ago in my buying video. And then everything else is kind of a collector card. You have to find somebody who wants something that's a little bit more niche, that came from maybe a little bit more of a unique product. So let's kind of see if there's anything else that jumps out to me in this baseball section. A lot of different, really good options, a lot of different nuances. And like I said, I'm trying to think about this from the perspective of somebody who just is getting into the hobby or who's getting back into it from when they were young, and there's so much that's new and different. Here's a big difference. If we haven't talked about hockey, and admittedly, I'm not a hockey expert by any stretch of the imagination, but one thing is in hockey that makes it really easy, Young Guns. I love that Upper Deck does this, frankly. Young Guns are the rookie cards in hockey. So it says Young Guns on it. They have pedigree going back several decades now, these Young Gun cards. I believe since the early 90s is when they started doing Young Guns. And these are the rookie cards, the definitive rookie cards. You chase them in Upper Deck Series 1 and Series 2 hockey. They have different designs year over year, but those are the rookie cards. So you won't see an RC logo on hockey cards. You will see Young Guns on rookie cards, and then those are typically what the people go after. Here's a good example. This one's actually in French, so it's a French card. Jeune loup means young wolves, basically. So this is a kind of a variation. So the French ones sometimes more rare, are more rare. Those can be more sought after for different players. Upper Deck is a company that's actually historically been really big or kind of on the leading edge too of these patch autographs. They sort of started the game in the 2000s with products, Upper Deck products, SP, SPX, and they've carried that lineage through. Obviously the other manufacturers realized they were really onto something and have pushed those really heavily. Panini now really known for those types of cards as well. All right, so a few more things here to look at as well. So Topps Archives has basically these autograph cards. So what happens is Topps they do like these buybacks, or they take old cards and then they actually go and have the player sign them, and they stamp them as part of Topps Archives signature series. They'll serial number the cards, and then they seal them inside of this one-touch magnetic holder with the Topps Archive sticker. So this card actually originally was out of 2022 Topps Stadium Club. And then Topps took this card, had Will Clark sign it, stamped it, and so now it's kind of like a different type of card. These cards, some people really like these cards. They like that they can get really unique autographs of different players, including retired players, in a chase. I believe it's a one-card pack, so it's kind of boom or bust, depending on what you get, but there can be some big auto chases in those. Other people, they would rather just have it be from the product itself, one of those pack-pulled autographs, like from the actual year, not an old card that sort of gets signed and then stamped. That brings to another point, which is the difference between pack-pulled autographs in general versus in-person autographs, which you can get authenticated. So with newer cards, let's say you track down Bobby Witt Jr., you track down Patrick Mahomes, you track down one of these players, and you just got one of their cards, a base card. And then you say, hey, Bobby, can you sign this card? And he signs it. And then you take that card and you send it to PSA or to one of the other grading companies to have them authenticate that autograph. They grade it, they put it in the slab. Those cards typically for ultra modern players are not anywhere near as valuable for those autographs as it is to get a pack pulled autograph. Very often, certain people don't even want those ones. They don't like it. It's like, yeah, you went and chased Bobby down, or maybe you even paid for him to sign this card at a card show like the National or somewhere else. Maybe you sent it through the mail and he sent it back to you. As a collector piece, that's really cool. You had some kind of an exchange, some kind of an interaction, and it's more nostalgic for you if it's your card. But everybody else tends to want those pack-pulled autographs, so keep that in mind. The big difference is older cards, where there were no pack-pulled autographs. Jeff is huge into vintage on-card autographs. So you take the 51 Bowman Mantle, and then you got Mickey Mantle to sign it before he passed. Those are a little bit different. Many people really do like those. Those tend to be growing in popularity because the card is actually signed, not something else, not something arbitrary. So keep that in mind. Pack-pulled autographs tend to be more popular than others, except in the case of vintage cards and especially like deceased athletes. All right, so one thing I want to point out too is cardstock thickness. So cards can come in all different thicknesses. 35 point, they measure them in points. 35 point is standard cardstock. That's going to fit into your regular penny sleeves, regular top holders, regular one-touch magnetic holders. But they do make cards with other thicknesses. So if you take a look at this card, this one looks like it's probably 120 point thickness. So this is much thicker, maybe like 4 times thicker than a usual card. A lot of times these ones that have the layers, pieces of stuff inserted into them, relic cards, things like that. Those tend to be much thicker. I've seen ones, I don't know what the biggest is. They've got all the supplies back here, maybe like 300 point or something like that, where they just get really thick. It does make a card more premium, and in some cases they have to make it thick, like I said, to fit those jersey pieces and other things inside. At the same time, you got to have special supplies for them. If you get them graded, they don't grade as well because the edges and corners are far more prone to damage. So getting a Gem Mint 10 is very difficult with many of the grading companies. If you want to do that, if you like to get your cards graded. The other thing is, you can't put it into a binder page. So some people don't actually like the thick cards as much for all those reasons, but in general, like higher end products tend to have thicker cards to kind of present in a more premium cardstock way. You even have some cases, like with this card, this Shohei Ohtani card, this is out of Topps Gold Label. It has a metal frame around the edge of it. It's actually a metal frame, maybe like some kind of a gold frame around the card. It's heavier, you can tell, definitely more premium. This is like a kind of like a showpiece. So they do those types of things. They use different materials, different thickness, different cardstock to try to make a really good impression for people, especially if they're paying for a high-end product. Okay, another cardstock that the manufacturers use is called acetate. It's a plastic and it's see-through. So I can actually see my hand through this card, German Marquez, and this is actually numbered to 10, numbered 6 of 10. This is the second most rare parallel that you can pull out of Topps flagship Topps paper, Series 1, Series 2, and Topps Update after the Platinum, which is numbered 1 of 1. So they make these, and the product is all paper stock, and then you can hit these clears to 10. Many people really like these. You can see the back looks very different on this card. Now they make other products where all of the cards are acetate, like Topps Tech. Topps Tech isn't made anymore, but this was an older product. They actually do still make this for like Star Wars and other stuff today. But this is actually out of Topps Archive Signature Series. So this Topps Tech card is originally from, let's see if we can find the year on it. Looks like 2000, really hard to read. So I think this is out of 2000. And then they had Sammy Sosa sign this card. They did the stamp thing, they put it into the case. So sometimes you get products that are actually all acetate. They make, I think it's called Topps Clearly, Topps something along those lines. Where every card out of the product is the clear acetate. Typically people still gravitate therefore toward the ones that are not usually acetate, like the clear out of flagship, as opposed to those products that are more like a collector product, kind of a fan favorite in different ways. Okay, so now one other thing with cards is that they're not always the same sizes. So typically you have the standard card size for most products, but then you get something like this 1985 Michael Jordan. This is like a Nike promo card basically, and sometimes these can be pretty popular. If they're rare, obviously it's a fantastic picture. Jordan obviously, basically helped Nike save its brand. Looks like they put some information on the back of this card, which a lot of times you see on normal sports cards. Topps also does something where they have like box toppers, where you open the box and on top there's a card inside. Sometimes those can be serial numbered, sometimes they can be autographed as well, so you get sort of these oversized ones. I actually think those are kind of cool. They make really nice showpieces when you put them into a nice top loader or something on your shelf, but those can definitely be really popular. And then sometimes cards are actually a little bit smaller too. You have like the vintage T206 set, the original T206 set. Those tobacco cards can be really small. You've got tall boys from different athletes like Wilt Chamberlain. So a lot of different card sizes in terms of the actual height, length and width of a card. All right, so I could keep going on for probably hours and hours. You and I could walk through these aisles and look at every card. You could ask me tons of questions, and I hope you'll do that. Ask me questions down in the comments. If you want to read more about the different types of cards, their history, as always, I would say check out our Dummies book, Sports Card Collecting and Investing for Dummies. You can find that on Amazon and some other great resources. So first of all, our Discord server, I believe, has 30,000 active members in it. So you can go to sportscardinvestor.com and click on the community tab up above, and you'll see an option to join our free Discord server. Other websites that are really useful. Anytime you want to buy a product or you're considering just doing some research, go look at the product checklists. You can look at baseballcardpedia.com, specifically for baseball cards. tcdb.com, trading card database, also has a lot of great information on checklists. Beckett.com always is publishing the new checklist as products come out. They also have an entire catalog. If you log in, you can get free access to just sort of see things like pack odds and other things like that. comc.com, COMC also tends to build out their card catalogs. There's a lot of great resources just to kind of find out what's what and like how rare is this serial numbered cards. Are there millions of them, you know, numbered to different colors, or is this truly rare and there's only numbered to 10, 25 and base cards, something along those lines. And then lastly, you can also check out blowout forums or Facebook groups. These can be great opportunities. Reddit as well, different communities to kind of interact in that more of a forum format with people, ask questions, get to know things, and just read through that history. All really great resources. So most importantly, I always say this, obviously, having a product like Market Movers, we put it in the shop for price transparency to people so that they can do their own research. But having that data and having that access to know and look at price points is going to help you make sure you get the best deal on cards when you're looking to buy them no matter what. Or if you like to rip packs open and you want to know exactly what you got, you can use Market Movers. So if you go to marketmoversapp.com, we are running a special promo right now. This is different than the usual code in that same 2-week trial period, 14 days completely free, 20% off for life, any plan that you choose. But the big thing is we're actually going to be giving away 3 boxes of Topps Composite Football in October. So you need to register by early October, I believe October 1st, and use code FB24, like for football, FB24. That's going to get you 2 weeks free to try it out, 20% off for life. And then we're going to be doing a raffle to give away a hobby box, which sells for around $450 to $500 right now, a mega box, and a blaster box to 3 Market Movers members. So you're going to want to make sure to go and get signed up for that before October 1st. As always, I really appreciate you watching this video. Make sure to leave me a comment down below, like the video if you would, and subscribe. And until next time, happy investing, keep on collecting, and make sure to have fun.